move on to the second part then of the podcast. Let's get into the main event, Matt, because it was a strange main event. And when you talk about pacing of the card, Matt, I guess this is one of those moments you were on about earlier on. Matt, you there?
Nope, sorry.
He's there. I thought we'd lost him then. I thought, let's Skype, that's it again. No, Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, the pacing, the main event, you said earlier about the pacing was a little bit off. I take it this is one of those moments.
Yeah, I would not have put this in the main event. I thought, surely, if the Heavyweight Championship is not in the main event, then surely Dolph Ziggler's career and the Intercontinental title belt mean a lot, you know? Surely, like, the respect for the Intercontinental title, you know, all the history of it, you know, and the respect for Dolph Ziggler and all that he's done for this company, that would be your main event. But no, it's about, like, mind games that don't even work, you know? They were going on and on in this match, like, oh, he's really in Randy Orton's head. Randy Orton looked like he didn't even care, you know? He looked like he felt, well, I'm just going to beat this guy up, you know? He's bigger than me, slower than me, I just beat him up. It didn't look like Randy Orton was phased at all. I don't know why they were going on so much about these mind games.
Not only that, this match was like a house show match. I mean, Orton slowed it down and was doing all that stuff. I mean, they should have made this sort of a DQ match, Matt, at least, because this was just a normal match. Mm-hmm. I mean, the whole storyline towards this was, I thought it was going to be, you know, outrageous and sort of all the rest of it. I mean, it was lacking, and this should not have been the main event. I mean, by a million miles. And the match, these two guys, I guess there's chemistry, not with everybody, Matt. I mean, they're both good individually, but this was terrible. I mean, this was diabolical. I mean, two great wrestlers like this, they just didn't have the chemistry. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's also a case, Matt, that this was supposed to have happened last month, and we're like, who cares? Like, you know.
Yeah.
I just didn't see this being the main event. I mean, this should have been, at best, semi-main event. The Intercontinental belt, if anything, should have probably been on at the end. And, you know, that whole bloody ending, Matt, I mean, I want to get into that right now, in fact. Was you like, wow, look at this? Didn't see that coming. What sort of reaction were they hoping that people were going to give? That Luke Harper was back? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was like, I like Luke Harper, but I saw this last year.
Yeah. It really left me sort of scratching my head and thinking, why are you doing this? I mean, the other terrible thing about it is, Bray was an interesting character and all of that, but I can't believe a word this guy says. Oh, I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to eat your soul. Oh, I'm going to eat some cakes or whatever. I don't know what he's on about, but he's more like the mumbler. I'm going to call him the mumbler from now on. He just sits backstage, mumbles, gets locked in a metal box. Someone let him out. I'm assuming it was like Luke Harper. They could have really pulled something out and surprised me if they brought in this Sister Abigail we talked about. You know, if that was the case, then I'd be on a completely different level. I'd be like, wow, you know, finally we have a name to a face now. No, but no, it's just Luke Harper. And then when Luke Harper came back and he was picking up Bray, I was just going, hit him. You're better than Bray now, just hit him. But it didn't happen. I was left even more disappointed.
Oh man, I mean, this match lasted, I mean, it was just under 16 minutes, but it was a 16 minutes waste of time. I mean, this was like just... Yeah. By this time, if you'd have come back from the debate, of the presidential debate, you'd have been happy that you went away with some time getting this at the end, because this just summed it up. This was not a good main event at all, and should not have been the main event, because for WWE to have been... If WWE is that naive to think that the whole idea that Luke Harper's back on our screen is such a big deal, and that is going to get them over the line, they are foolish, because that has been done so many times now. I'm sick of it. I am sick to death of the screen going black, and then it's just, it's just nothing to me. I mean, we've been having it for what, 4 years, I don't know, but too long.
Oh yeah, that was the other point.
No progression.
It totally got to me then. I was thinking, how is this not a disqualification? I was like, you can't do certain things. You can't like rake someone's eyes. You can't like put your foot on the rope, but you can turn the lights out. You know, that's completely fine. You know, just do that whenever you want.
Yeah, so yeah, he gets the distraction, and of course Wyatt hits Sister Abigail. I mean, it makes Orton look stupid as well, the way Randy's looking at him, like as if this is such a big deal. I don't get it. He's like fascinated, like he's never seen Luke Harper before. You know, what will he do? He's looking at him like he's just some crazed guy. So yeah, it wasn't great. The only positive thing, Matt, is Bray wins, but it's not exactly clean. No one's going to remember that's the night Bray won a match, is it really? Because the way it went down, it's like Luke Harper. I mean, at least have Bray winning it on his own to have some sort of positive effect. But of course, it wasn't. So Bray Wyatt's probably one and only chance of ever main event in a pay-per-view. Unfortunately, he gets overshadowed by the B, or what I call a sort of B-list returning superstar. I mean, it's nothing special to see Luke Harper back, quite frankly. I mean, I'm a fan of Luke Harper, but to see him come back in that manner, it's nothing great to be talking about. You know, I don't think Twitter blew up all over the place because Luke Harper's back. We'd heard that he'd been main eventing some house shows anyway, so it was always on the cards. This match, Matt, I mean, it's hard to give over. I mean, it's difficult because I like both guys, but this match, for me, I'm going to give it a 2 because, for me, it's not main event quality. The match made no sense in a lot of ways and to what it led to. And yeah, just the whole kind of lights out at the end, it's old news to me, Matt. I mean, it's just old stuff that they're bringing up here. But can you give any positive light that I haven't, Matt, here?
Not really. I mean, we got Luke Harper back. That's the only positive, you know. But then even that has a tremendous downside because they've got Luke Harper back, but he hasn't been given anything fresh. They're just like, would you mind taking over from Eric Rowan? You know, it's just he stepped into his shoes. It's nothing specifically written for Luke that, you know, they couldn't have just done with Eric. Mm-hmm. So hugely disappointing. And you know, if I was in the arena and I stayed to the end of this, and then all the lights went on, and that was the end, and I'd be like, what have I just done? You know, what have I just spent all that money on? Especially in the front row, I'd be like, oh my god, you know, how am I going to justify this? I could have been at Royal Rumble.
Yeah, it's. I mean, here's the thing: when that happened and the pin happened, I kept thinking, like, you know, you're watching the screen, and I'm like, okay, Luke's gonna turn on him. Luke's gonna do it. And then I saw the damn logo come up, the WWE logo, and I was like, no! Oh, it's gone off. Great, that's not happened. So I was completely disappointed, because if that had happened, I think we would have been talking about going forward with Bray and Luke and seeing what those guys could have come up with. But, you know, again, it's the same old. I mean, I honestly thought they were done with this whole Wyatt thing now since Braun had gone to Raw, and, you know, I honestly thought they were done. I thought Bray was slightly changing into a more wrestling kind of based character, because we'd seen him out with the entire roster as opposed to just secluded backstage somewhere. So that's obviously not the case, Matt. And you know, like I say, disappointing for him because it was a great advertisement for him, Matt, as to suggest why he should be doing more. But in this kind of a format, it's very difficult to get him over the line anywhere else. So, Matt, as an entire pay-per-view, I'm pretty much guessing you're with me in the sense this is probably the worst one of the three so far, the brand-only ones.
Oh yeah, you know, easily the worst. I mean, now to go from like a really disappointing, like a second to last match, you know, not like a hugely disappointing second to last match, to a disappointing last match. You know, that's not the way you want to end your show. You know, people, you didn't send anybody home talking after this one. All they were going to talk about was, well, who's going to be Randy Orton's partner? You know, because Randy Orton works so well in a tag team. Why not do that again, eh?
Or, like most people probably came out, what did Donald say next? Was probably what they were thinking after this, because they might have got more of a main event now. It was a nightmare. I think in this main event, I really think WWE should have just stuck to their basics and just had the WWE Championship go at the end. Honestly, because it's a network thing. People are going to watch this, like, you know, people can catch up with this stuff. Like, you know, I don't get why they would want the audience there live. I really don't get it. It's a one-off kind of deal that this is going to happen. And, you know, if they'd have played it right, Matt, they could have built up that main event in such a way that you could have had that audience still there. You could have had them being like disinterested in what they were already watching on the other channel. And I think, well, I need a change, and you know, John Cena's back, and AJ Styles, and you know, like they build it up during the night. But no, they didn't want to do it. They kind of, to me, Matt, they gave up right at the first bell, and they said when they put that match on first, it was almost like they gave up in an instant, and that was it. They admitted defeat.
Here's my comparison to this. Then I said this is my comparison to this pay-per-view. I enjoyed TNA's normal TV show this week more than I did this pay-per-view of WWE.
That's saying something, isn't it? That is saying something. Well, I think we will leave that there, Matt, because I think No Mercy's done it for me. I don't want to talk any more about it. I've had enough. So I said we had a lot of questions coming in. We're going to try and fill that up on our second part of this podcast. And let's get straight into it, Matt, because we've got quite a lot. So I'll try and get through as much as I can. Steve Thompson from Leeds. Great show. Have 2 questions on No Mercy. First off, do you feel so far the brand-only pay-per-views have been better or worse since the split? So, Matt, let's just answer that first one. I mean, quite frankly, from what I've seen thus far, and it includes Raw, it's not made me think this is a wise idea. I'm not saying the brand split is not a good idea, but I'm saying having the pay-per-views separate as well. I'm not keen on it so far. I'll say so far because I'm gonna hold out judgment until maybe after Hell in a Cell. But Matt, what do you think on this so far?
Yeah, I've got to say, the brand split, I think, is a good idea. I mean, I do enjoy the brand split. I do enjoy there being a reason to watch SmackDown, because there was no reason before, and I do enjoy that. But the whole pay-per-view split thing, you know, you get 2 weeks and then you get 2 weeks, I think that's not good. I think you should do it we spoke about this before the brand split even happened. Like, they should do it one of 2 ways. Or this is at least what I was thinking, that you know, all wrestlers should be allowed on the pay-per-view. You know, and whatever matches aren't good enough, you know, i.e. like what we saw with like Carmella and Nikki, and that could be resolved on a regular SmackDown. You know, and the fact that Raw is being a particular culprit for naming heavyweight champions, women's champions on Raws anyway, you know, giving people a reason to watch Raw, doing that kind of thing anyway. Why do they need all these extra pay-per-views when they're already crowning new champions on Raw and stuff? Yeah,
I would focus more on the TV shows. I mean, they want to grow that audience more.
Yeah.
I would say, like Matt said, either 1 or 2 ways. You have still the joint pay-per-views, or you do 8 or 7 weeks of one until you get to a Survivor Series or a Rumble, because in those weeks you can still do payoff matches on the shows. Make it important, make it worth tuning in for somebody, you know, on a Tuesday night that might not normally watch it. Like, put a title match on or do something, you know, because they can do that. The option is there, because in all honesty, Matt, having a network special, it's not exactly going to garner them much more money. So you might as well just do that in a lot of ways. I mean, it's less work for the talent. I know it doesn't fill out an arena, but you know, honestly, I don't get the advantages of of all this, and saying, it's 2 for the price of 1. It's not exactly great stuff.